Every agency owner that I talk to is overthinking how they're supposed to grow. There are dozens and dozens of things that they think they should be doing. Should I run ads? Should I send cold emails? Should I do more outbound DMs? Should I post on LinkedIn? Should I post on YouTube? Should I build a new website? Should I hire more people? Should I start a newsletter? But they're thinking about the problem all wrong, because there are really only two ways to grow an agency. And once you understand what those two things are and what you should be doing, all of your other decisions become way more clear. So in this video, I want to walk through the two paths of growing an agency, what each one of these looks like in practice, which one is right for which type of person, and what I would do if I was you. Now, before I get into these two paths, I want to be clear on what is really going on with most of the agency owners that I talk to. The reason that you feel stuck is not because you don't know what to do. The reason you feel stuck is because you have too many options of things that you could be doing. Every coach running an ad is telling you that you need to do one thing or another. Every agency guru running an ad is telling you that you have to do this thing or you can't ever do this thing if you want to be successful. One guy saying that you have to run ads, another guy saying ads don't work anymore. Another guy saying you got to run cold email, another guy saying LinkedIn is the only thing that works. So you're sitting there stuck at 30, 50, 100K a month, trying to do all of these things, not doing any of them well, and wondering why you're stuck and not growing. But here's what I learned after growing my own agency to $5 million a year before selling it and working with over 300 agency owners. None of these things are growth strategies. They are tactics, and they all live inside one of two paths. Path number one is that you can get more clients at the current price you're charging. Path number two is you can get better clients and charge more. Both of these paths can work, and people have built successful agencies doing both of these. But what you have to understand is that the sales process, the team, who you hire, how you hire, your margins, your operation, your cash flow cycles, all of that is going to be wildly different depending on which path you pick. So let's walk through both. Path one is more clients. You stay at your current price, typically around 2, 3, 4, 5K a month, and your goal is to sign as many clients as you possibly can. The majority of agencies that I talk to and that I see online are using this path. If we just want to do the math on it, to hit 100K a month, you're going to need about 33 clients, right? 33 clients at 3K a month average. It's 99,000, but about 100,000 a month. If you want to get to 250K a month, then you're going to need about 83 of those clients. If you want to get to 500K a month, you're going to need about 166 of those clients. If you are going to commit to this path, your delivery must be productized down to the smallest, finest detail. Everything must be repeatable, trainable, and documented. You cannot do any custom work because custom work kills volume. You're going to spend a lot of time and money on hiring because churn is something that you're going to run into a lot, especially with higher volume because of the burnout that you're going to get both on the client side and on the employee side. Your sales process is going to have to be fast, 1 to 2 calls maximum, because you can't afford long sales cycles when you got to bring in so many new customers every single month. Your margins are going to be a lot tighter, so you're going to have to bring on junior people, train them up, and just accept the fact that some of these people are going to leave right after you train them. Your front-end marketing has to be a machine because you need to replace clients that churn. The agencies that I see doing this well treat their agency like a factory. Take the client in, put them on the machine, churn them out on the other side. Some get great results, some get okay results, a lot don't get any results at all, but volume is the goal. This, by the way, is how I built my original agency, right? When we got to our first 100K a month, technically $113,000 a month in November of 2021, this was the model that we were running, and it was rough to say the least. My life was primarily just employee fires and client fires. But the trap that I started to fall into, and I see a lot of other agencies fall into, is trying to make this transition from lower end clients to higher end clients, charging less to charging more, and still keeping the lower end clients on the books. But the issue is the small clients eat up all the time and they eat up all the margin that you're getting from your higher end clients. We figured out that we can't be two agencies at the same time. It's very tough, but you have to pick one. So if you're going to do path one, do path one. Go after volume, productize everything, and keep your prices low. Now let's talk about path two. Instead of going after more clients, you're going after better clients, clients who can pay you more. So instead of charging $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month, what you're going to do is go after clients who can pay you $10,000, $20,000, or even $30,000 a month. But we'll use $10,000 as an example. For a $100,000 a month agency, it's 10 clients instead of 33. For $250,000 a month, it's 25 instead of 83. For a $500,000 a month agency, it's 50 instead of 166. On paper, the revenue is the same, but it's the underlying business that's completely different. A few things are going to shift when you go in this direction. The first thing that you'll notice, and I did an interview with one of our clients, Patrick, which you can find on this channel, is that the conversations are actually significantly easier because you're talking to real businesses with real budgets that have money set aside to invest into marketing or automations or operation services, as opposed to small businesses where they're deciding between paying you and paying the rent that month. These clients typically will have internal teams, historical data, and pre-established processes so they can treat you like a true partner and not just a vendor or somebody that they're going to hit up at 11 o'clock at night because they need to make a change to their CRM. The operations are typically much simpler. We use what we call a pod structure with a team lead on top, usually usually the account manager, with 2 to 3 specialists underneath them who provide and do the actual deliverables. They operate autonomously, almost like a mini agency inside of your agency. They can typically service 5 to 10 clients per pod, depending on how complex your service is. So for every $100,000 in enterprise client revenue that we generated, typically represented by 10 clients because they're paying $10,000 a month each, it's usually 2 pods to handle with 5 clients per pod, which usually comes out to about 6 to 8 employees per $100,000 in revenue. To do that same $100,000 in revenue with small clients, you need 33 of them, which means you're going to need 5 to 6 pods, which is 15 to 25 employees. Not to mention how many more calls, messages, emails, revisions, back and forth that you're going to have to do because of all the additional clients that you're managing. And we found that retention is significantly easier because enterprise clients are looking at this as a long-term investment as opposed to something that would quickly turn their business around with a small business client. They're not going to fire you over one bad month because they understand whatever you're doing takes time to see the fruits of that labor. So lifetime value is usually significantly higher. A $10,000 a month client staying for even 1 year is $120,000 in value versus a $3K a month client staying for 4 months and churning is $12K. The other thing to keep in mind is the number of hours that you will spend per month per client working on whatever it is that you're doing for them. So we use the software Toggle to track our employees' billable hours for the clients that we work with. And no, this is not a paid sponsorship. It's just the software that we use. And what we found is that with smaller clients, it was typically 32 hours worth of work per month. So 10 clients paying $3,000 a month is 320 billable hours worth of work for $30,000. Versus with our enterprise clients who trust us and don't need as many revisions, so they don't take all that time going back and forth, or who are busy themselves so they don't want to hop on calls and send you messages all day, we typically only worked about 18 hours per month per client for them. So across 10 clients, that's 180 hours worth of billable work for $100,000. It's a 140 hour a month difference, which taken across an entire year is 70 full days of less work, which by the way is why I spend so much time talking about enterprise clients charging more. It's not just about the money or the revenue or the profit or whatever else. It's about the time that you actually spend working, because I imagine you, like me, didn't start your agency to be a slave to it. You started it because of the money and the lifestyle that it could give you. This is what I had to figure out the hard way for myself, so that's why I spend all this time talking about it, is so that I can lay out the 2 paths that no one laid out for me. To give you an example, we worked with a guy named Evan. He came to us and he was doing about $40,000 a month and had been stuck there for about 6 months. He was working 12 to 14 hours a day, not because he wanted to, but because he had to. He was running path 1, trying to get as many clients as he possibly could. So he came through our program and he switched paths. He stopped trying to go after as many clients as possible and started going after better clients. He repositioned his offer. He didn't change what he was selling. He didn't add a bunch more deliverables. He didn't hire a bunch more people, but he stopped selling to broke clients at $3,000 and spent all his time going after clients who could pay him $10,000 a month minimum. And just 3 months later, he broke through that $100,000 a month ceiling. These days, he's absolutely crushing it, but it all started with the original decision to no longer tolerate small businesses and only go after enterprise clients. If you want the long version to see how it all played out, I have the interview on my channel. But real quick, here's how you can figure out which path you should choose. If you want to go after path 1, it can absolutely work. Just know you are now a high volume agency. It all must be productized and your prices have to stay low forever, and you must commit to this 100% of the time, and you cannot change that direction. For everybody else, path 2 is the answer. If you're at $30, $80, or $150,000 a month and you've got proof, you've got case studies, but you're just stuck at a number that's frustrating you, it might be because you're running a model that just can't go any higher without breaking. Adding another $3,000 a month client to that roster is not going to make it any better, and in fact, it might make it work. You've got to just fix the offer, cut the fat, and change direction. You are probably not stuck because you can't sign more clients. You're probably stuck because you're undercharging. Path 2 will fix that, but you have to make the call to go that direction and start heading there. And if you want our help to implement the things necessary in order for you to go up market and charge more and start signing these enterprise clients like we did with Evan, what I would encourage you to do is go down to the link in the description, book a call with me if you're over $30K a month, because we don't work with beginners, and I'll see if we can help. See y'all in the next one.